is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
Matt Moore is looking to round into form in 2016. The lefty coming off his best start of the year. Last time out, tossing 7 shutout innings. Today, Matt has the tough task of taming the hottest team in baseball, the San Francisco Giants. Today at Tropicana Field, the Rays' 9-game homestand continues. Looking for their first winning homestand of the year. So far, the Rays are 4 up and 3 down as they meet the San Francisco Giants in the middle game of this 3-game series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you looking in. Well, the Rays, after last night's 5-1 loss, trying to get even with this San Francisco Giants ball club. They're going to send Matt Moore to the plate, and among other hitters he will attempt to tame is their impressive first baseman, Brandon Belt.
And good luck. You know, Brandon Belt, one of the hottest hitters in baseball. We saw that last night, a couple of hits, a home run off Eddie Romero, no less. No easy task. But what he's done in his last 17 games, he's on a 9-game hitting streak. He's hit safely in 15 out of 17, and with damage, the 381 average, 9 doubles, 5 of his 9 home runs have come in this stretch, along with the 12 runs batted in. Strong hands, strong forearms, up the middle approach, very quick with the swing. We saw that last night getting to the 97 of Romero. Well, I'll tell you what, Matt Moore looking to tame him, like you said, and the rest of that lineup. And Matt Moore, second start in a row where he went 7 innings, but this was special. 2 hits, no earned runs. He struck out 10, he walked 1, he hit a guy just because he could, and he did it mainly with the fastball and the curveball. Those 2 pitches working off each other very, very well. Very few changeups, but quite frankly, he didn't need it.
Today, Rays looking for more offense than they had last night. Just a run on 4 hits, the Brad Miller home run to avoid a shutout. But Steve Pearce has been red hot, both against lefties and right-handed pitching. Top Callens with more in a moment.
Rays baseball on a late Saturday afternoon as the Rays try to defeat the Giants for the first time in this series. The Rays have won the first two series of this homestand, taking 2 out of 3 from both Houston and Seattle, trying to make it 5 straight series where they win at least 2 out of 3. Steve Pearce, a big part of that. The month of June, he's been outstanding. In our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, you can see in 11 games a 500 batting average. Since May 16th, nobody has a higher batting average in baseball than the Rays' versatile Steve Pearce. We caught up with his manager, Kevin Cash, and asked him what has impressed him watching him on a regular basis.
The overall approach is what really impressed. We knew he was a guy that hits the ball really hard, but really had no idea that he had so much hit ability to take some balls the other way. He'll shoot the hole when they're playing the pull shift on him, but just gives quality at bat after at bat and squares up a lot of baseballs.
He's about 17 plate appearances shy from qualifying, or else he would be right now second in the AL in hitting. We are 3 minutes and 42 seconds away to the first pitch when Matt Moore on his 27th birthday will deliver to Denard Span. We'll have all the game action right around the corner.
Rays and the Giants today from Tropicana Field, ready for some late afternoon baseball. Rays start this one 31-34 in San Francisco at 42-26, a red hot team. The Giants have gone 25-8 in this 33-game stretch. 70s in vogue. The Rays in their hypothetical 1979 uniforms, and the Giants sporting their 1978 orange tops.
And I like that the Rays are already taking this 70s turn back the clock night real serious. Like, hey man, we'll get there when we get there. We'll play whenever.
Yeah, that's quite a look down there in the Giants bullpen.
That's rough. That's a version of orange I've never seen before, unless you take actually an orange shirt and you throw it in with the whites, it gets bleached, and that's what pops out.
Yeah. Bringing memories back of Chili Davis playing for the Giants in those uniforms. Lineup for San Francisco presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Denard Span leads it off, then Joe PANIK and Brandon Belt. Buster Posey will be the DH and probably the DH tomorrow. He'll be followed by Duffy and then Crawford, Pagan, Brown, and Blanco.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays, left-hander Matt Moore, and he is coming off of his best start of the season. 7 strong innings, gave up 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, and he did it basically with 2 pitches. It was the fastball and the curveball. They were working that well. Let's see if he can continue that here today. Let's take a look at the defense and see how it's going to line up behind Matt Moore here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Swords. In the outfield left to right, we've got Corey Dickerson, MIKIE, MAHTOOK, and Jeff Decker. Across the infield third to first, Evan Longoria, Brad Miller, Logan Forsythe, and Logan Morrison, with Hank Conger getting the call behind the plate.
Matt Moore coming off an excellent outing his last time against the Houston Astros. Today's Matt's birthday. 27 years old today as he faces the San Francisco lineup. He could pitch himself to quite a present here.
Anything close to that line, you better believe it.
Well, Denard Span's going to lead it off. Span playing center field in that spot last night, leading off for Bruce Bochy's club.
He wasn't kidding either with the pants and the stirrups. Those are legit stirrups. That's not the one piece.
If you're going to do it, let's do it. First pitch of this game is a strike call. Fastball from Matt Moore. So we're underway. Nothing in 2. So fastball, curveball so far.
Both sharp, both well located.
It's a ball, 2 strikes. Here's Bruce Bochy. 22nd year managing in the major leagues. Started in '95 with San Diego. His 10th year now with San Francisco. There's a popper short left out from shortstop. Miller inside the line makes the catch. So that's the way this one begins. A little popper handled by Brad Miller. Span retired.
Second baseman, number 12.
There's Joe PANIK.
I'm going to tell you right now, Dwayne, at some point during this ball game, Joe PANIK is going to try to bunt for a hit up the third base line. Mark it down.
Noted. The pitch is a strike. Well, he is a guy who can handle the bat extremely well. Good hand-eye coordination. Pops it up. Miller out after this one and makes the catch from shortstop.
Staying busy out there at shortstop. One to his right, that one to his left. Now Matt Moore just continues to pound the strike zone. You know, this is the Matt Moore we saw the first couple of starts of the season, where he was out there in good rhythm, in good tempo, everything in sync, and working from ahead in attack mode.
Well, here's Brandon Belt, who we highlighted in the open. Belt had a double and a home run in last night's game. Hit the home run off Enny Romero and really turned a fastball around. There's a healthy cut at that one.
Watch how quick the hands. I mean, we're talking, that's a 96 to 98 mile-an-hour fastball in that ballpark, and he just flipped it into the seats in right center field.
He's hitting .290 against left-handed pitching this year. 306 overall. And he loves hitting on the road. How about that? 348 versus 262 at home.
You know what? When you have those kind of numbers on the road versus at home, you go ahead and take that apartment, you send it back. Just stay in a hotel. Just stay in a hotel.
Cut and a miss. Fastball 0-2.
Some nice hotels in San Francisco. We stay in one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to keep that road feel going.
A room service and raking.
Ground ball right side. The Rays with the shift on. And Forsythe handles that ground ball. So Logan Forsythe picking up an assist in the first, and he'll lead off the bottom of the first. No score. Rays coming in to hit. Bottom of the first inning. A 1-2-3 top half of the first. Rays lined up, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Logan Forsythe, Brad Miller, and then Evan Longoria. Down the middle, it will be Logan Morrison, followed by Steve Pearce, the DH, and then Corey Dickerson. MIKIE MAHTOOK in center. That's Jeff Decker hitting 8th and right, and Hank Conger bats 9th.
Well, they'll be facing right-hander Albert Suarez here, making his 3rd start of the season for the San Francisco Giants. You see he's appeared in 8 games, some out of the bullpen. Last couple of ball games able to get stretched out. Got up to 6 1/3 innings in his longest outing this year.
First pitch is a strike down around the knees. Well, and if he is what the Giants hope him to be today, we'll see a lot of pitches down.
Works that very efficient. And that's what he has shown so far in his limited time with the Giants. He goes right out, goes right after you, wants early contact.
It's a ball and a strike. 26 years old. Out of Felix, Venezuela. The Rays had him in their Venezuelan academy as a teenager. High fly ball to right. Blanco's out there waiting on this one. 1 away.
Let's take a look at that Giants defense and see how it's going to line up here this afternoon. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source in the outfield left and right. We have Angel Pagan, Denard Span, and Gregor Blanco. Across the infield, third diverse, Matt Duffy, Brandon Crawford, Joe Panik, and Brandon Belt, with Trevor Brown behind the plate.
Well, Brad Miller helped the Rays avoid the shutout last night, belting his 7th home run of the year. Takes a big cut, fouls it back, strike 1. He got a fastball he liked right there.
Dwayne, you mentioned it. He wants to work down in the zone. So these Rays hitters, you're going to see swings like that an awful lot if Suarez is up in the zone. Now, there'll be times that he may try to climb the ladder on purpose, but pitches meant to be down that drift up in the zone, those are the ones you got to capitalize on.
2 balls and a strike. Into center. Denard Span cutting across and makes the catch.
That's such a tough read. Those line drives directly at you, especially for a center fielder. All sorts of action on those baseballs. Some tumbling actions, some knuckling action. And Denard Span's got to read this quick. And you see him get the read on it and then make the break. Read first, break second, and he's able to track it down. And still, it almost handcuffed him.
Here's Evan Longoria. And a big one. High and deep and gone. Evan Longoria hits his 17th home run. First pitch fastball.
What did we just say? If you're going to elevate the fastball, those are the ones you got to take advantage of. Suarez trying to throw a first pitch quality strike. This ball stays up. When his ball stays up, it flattens out. And Longoria flattened it.
You know, coming into this start, opposing hitters 5 out of 10 against him on first pitches of a count. That's the 6th hit he's given up on the first pitch, all for extra bases. 4 doubles, a triple, and now a home run.
Now, those are guys that are going up there. They know they're going to see, you know, especially first time through the lineup, a lot of first pitch fastballs. And so if you're not down with it, well, that can happen.
1-0 to Logan Morrison. Takes a pitch away. 2-0. It's the 95th home run for the Rays this year. Two and one. Having 8 home runs now in his last 13 games. And 21 runs batted in his last 18.
How about the fact that was Suarez? That was his first home run given up this season. Only 27 2/3 innings, but still.
2-2, foul ball out of play.
Yeah, that's a guy right there in Evan Longoria that right now you just can't make mistakes. You've got to make your pitches against him. Don't let him beat you, because if you make a mistake, that's now 8 home runs in his last 13 games.
Two the count on Morrison. That's headed up the middle, base hit into center. He follows the home run with a base hit. And the designated hitter, Steve Pearce. Look at those numbers for Pearce. 346. And as you highlighted in the pregame, he's done that not only against left-handed pitching, but right-handed pitching.
That is what really jumped out. You know, he's still raking lefties, 383, but 330 against righties, and more at bats against right-handed pitching.
Well, there it is. Nothing wrong with that work against right-handers.
It's precisely the reason why he is not coming out of this lineup anytime soon.
Foul ball back, a fastball, and Pierce quick to offer at that one. Rays 4-3 on this 9-game homestand, winning 2 out of 3 from Houston, 2 out of 3 from Seattle, dropping the first game of the series to the Giants last night. Fly ball into right. Blanco will go back, not quite to the track, and make the catch on this one. Ray's going to run on the Evan Longoria home run. Also leave a man. And at the end of an inning, the Rays are out in front 1-0. With the home run, putting the Rays on top early. Today's game, we're participating in the Home Run Challenge to benefit prostate cancer research. This week, over $1.7 million has been raised. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. Buster Posey, the DH, missed the opening fastball for a strike.
You know, that was a good shot of Evan Longoria down there at third base. Another guy who's taking this throwback day serious. Not just because he went deep, Dwayne.
Yes.
But look at the jersey.
Yep.
We saw the chain hanging down in the dugout, but look at there's no undershirt. Showing some chest. That's 70s. Right?
Fashion statement moment.
Look at that.
Yeah. There you go.
I like it. You got to sell it. That's
the 70s.
So groovy. There were so many good decisions made in that decade. Hairstyles, clothes,
foul, out of play.
Pair of jeans where the bottoms of them you could hide people under.
Yeah,
like a tent.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they added a little material, split the seams.
Wow.
Yeah. Battery operated disco shoes.
That's made up.
No. The high popper. And just out of the reach there. Morrison trying to extend that right arm as far as he could and came up just a little short.
That low wall, it becomes enticing. You get some good lean.
You never know who you're going to meet when you come to the ballpark and get a ticket in the first or second row.
No. Right in your lap.
Yeah. My name is Logan. 1-2 popped up again, right side. This one a little deeper back into the stands. POSEY out on strikes. Nice low action on that fastball.
Uh-oh.
See, I knew that you were leading up to something.
Look at that. Look at that. D. Wayne, look at you. Well, you've got the choker going and the open collar, butterfly collar.
Yeah. But
very stylish.
I like Al Roboski myself.
He's very angry. He's given the Steve Pearce before Steve Pearce.
Oh, my.
He's got that scowl.
Yes. Such a friendly guy to have such a scowl. 1-0 the count to Matt Duffy. Can only be an improvement from this point in the telecast forward.
No, you know what? I liken you, when you look at that lineup of characters right there,
yep.
I liken you to Brian Fantana. You're the stylish one of the group.
Yeah, and a dedicated journalist.
With lots of nicknames.
Swing and a miss by Duffy. It's 2-1. We never got ever any residuals from that. After, I mean, that had to be an inspiration.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a good looking group. Channel 4 news team.
2-2. Ah, the 70s. And here we are. Turn back the clock then. Brandon Crawford's on deck. It's another foul ball right side out of play. Duffy last night 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. How about Matt Moore pumping strikes here?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we saw his last time out. Just set the tone, put the opposition on their heels. And when you do that, we made a point of it. We talked about it the last time he was on the mound. When you come out pounding the zone like he has, you force a team to have to swing early. They cannot afford to sit back and take strikes and then try to go after that curveball or elevated heater with 2 strikes. So you can get some early outs.
Oh, there's a long one. 3-2 fastball, and Duffy gets into this one and ties the game with his 4th home run of the year.
And that was a fastball that was down in the zone, and Duffy able to just go down and get it. Drop the head. Matt Moore, he's giving you some velocity. And Matt Duffy able to take advantage and tie this game up. Driving that fastball, trying to get it up and in. It stays down and in. Duffy's quick to it.
Well, Duffy shows his power there. It has been a struggle for him on the road. He came into this game hitting only 126 on the road and 356 at home for San Francisco. And he got into that one. The ball, no strikes, the count on Brandon Crawford. 2-0. 15th home run given up by Matt. And the 12th to right-handed hitters.
That's been the one part of his game that has hurt him this year. Career high home run rate, keeping the ball in the yard.
Takes the count to 2-1. Yeah, his velocity has been good. Went through a stretch where command was an issue. It's 3-1.
You see right there, 95 already. The low of 79. It gives you a wide swath there to have to work with.
It's fair ball. Morrison will handle it unassisted. 2 gone in the second. Rays players need your support to get to the 2016 MLB All-Star Game. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote to submit your ballot for all your favorite Rays players. You can vote up to 5 times every day. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote now. Angel Pagan, switch hitting outfielder. 0 for 3 last night. Reached on a catcher's interference, and the Giants turned that into a 2-run inning. 1-1 right now in this one. And that's a strike. John Tumpain is calling the balls and strikes. 33 years old. Out of play. 2 gone with a run in. 2 strikes the count on the Giants left fielder.
You know, and this is what you can do. You know, if you're Matt Moore and you're coming out throwing quality strikes early, that last foul ball right there by Pagan, just, you know, an emergency, just protect yourself type swing. You take all the aggressiveness away from a hitter. If you continue to make quality strikes and not let them off the hook with something that you hang out over the middle. And the thing is when you're in an 0-2 count, you don't have to be fine. I mean, you can attack the edges for a pitch or two. And a lot of times a guy looking to protect, you know, you're going to get him to go after those and either get weak contact or the swing and the miss.
Well, you see that last pitch was up out of the zone. Just a little piece of that breaking ball way up there.
You want to avoid that one.
Just be careful.
Be careful with that one.
Lays off this one down.
And that's okay. You know, you've slowed him down a little bit and you got him to look at that, give that pitch a little bit extra long look down. Now if you're feeling good with your elevated heater, I'd go letter high, middle of the plate, and just gas him up. We're going to go back down. Still could do it. You know, back-to-back hooks that have been in the middle to the lower part of the zone. So you've changed his eye level, you've slowed him down, speed him back up, and go up above the zone. You got a great count to do it in too.
You know, after all of this, it's still a 1-2 count. 7 pitches in. This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat. Two and two. Ground ball to third. Evans scoops and throws. That takes care of San Francisco. Tie game. We go to the bottom of the 2nd.
Runs by the respective third baseman in this game have this game tied at 1 as we enter the bottom half of the second inning. A lot of kids in the Tampa Bay area could use mentoring, and the Tampa Bay Rays have really developed an incredible relationship with big brothers and big sisters. And guys, tonight after the game on our Rays Live post-game show, we'll talk about Steven Souza Jr. and Chris Archer and tell you how they have been involved with the program, as well as the rest of the Rays front office. The Rays and big brothers, big sisters, making an impact in the community. Back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Rays outfitted in the turn back the clock uniforms. And there's Alex Cobb, and we'll have more on him. His first time on the mound for a little live batting practice, and the initial reports that he felt very good.
Another step, the next step. Every one more exciting than the last, and anytime you're out there on the mound facing live hitters, and I think that I think it was like 15 fastballs.
Yep, said he was very happy with the way his arm felt.
It's one thing to throw a bullpen. It's another thing to have a guy in the box, even if he's not going to swing. Just that body in the box, the adrenaline level starts to go up a little bit. When he's got a bat and he's going to swing, it goes up a little bit more. We'll just continue to build until he's back.
PANIK at second base takes care of that one. Some of the live BP for Alex Cobb. The plan is to have 3 or 4 of those live practice sessions like that, batting practice sessions, and do that once every 5 days, and eventually move on to rehab starts.
And by the way, the first pitch we show is a nasty backdoor hook. So you can take that 15 fastballs and you just put it in your wallet or something, because that was a hook, and it was a high quality hook.
It was a check by Mikey MAHTOOK. Up in the count, 2-0. 1 out on the ground ball by Dickerson. MAHTOOK in the batter's box with Decker on deck. 2-1. It's down. Rays facing Albert Suarez, 26-year-old right-hander. Longoria touched him for the home run in the first inning. Full count here on MAHTOOK.
When you look at his breakout, you know, it's fastball, curveball, slider, change, your 4 typical pitches. Mainly fastball, sliders to the righties, fastball, changeup, the curveball to the lefties.
And the fastball, 3-2, fouled right back. Foul ball. So he'll get another look on 3-2.
Breaking ball and right off the inside of that right knee.
Trevor Brown doing the catching. Mochi plans on catching him again tomorrow. Taking advantage of the interleague on the road game to give Buster Posey a couple of days as the DH. Good for his legs.
They've even been, you know, from year to year increasing the time he gets over at first base to take some of that wear and tear off of him.
And a cut and a miss. Strikes him out with a fastball.
You know, that's a case right there of getting a guy into swing mode. where it's swing, foul pitch off, swing, foul pitch off. You just get into that swing mode, and then all of a sudden you find yourself chasing something that's out of the zone, where normally that's a pitch that MIKIE MAHTOOK is going to take.
Two outs, and here's Decker. Jeff Decker, 1 of 9 since coming to the Rays from the Durham Bulls.
He's already managed to pine tar that helmet right up. Didn't take long.
Fastball. Fouls it back. Count still 0-2 on Decker. And Brown, I think, got a shot on that one. Let's take a look at this. Oh. The Giant trainer out to take a look. That backswing. He says he's all right. Put away. Two and 2. Suarez signed by the Rays, and he was with the Rays up through the 2014 season. Last year pitched at AA in the Angels organization. Tap right back to the hill. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. We're through 2, tied 1-1. Ball game. Rays and the Giants. The Toyota keys to success. Boy, look at this run for San Francisco. And that's the key right there.
Set the tone. I mean, set the tone. When your starters can go out over a 33-game stretch and run up a 2.13, you're going to win some ball games, bottom line. Even with the runs scored. You know, the runs scored 4.3. That's nice, but that's below actually what they're averaging for the season. It's been the pitching.
Trevor Brown, the catcher, leads off and takes the first 2 pitches out of the zone from Matt Moore. 2-0. Brown, Blanco, and then Bernard Span due up. Line drive. That's a base hit. Dickerson plays it on a hop and gets rid of it back toward the infield, and Brown has a base hit.
You know, that's the key too. Corey Dickerson getting some extended time in left field now, and it's the hustle off of the ball off the bat. He cuts that off. He keeps Brown at first base. He lets that ball get by him. You're looking at extra bases and immediate trouble on a fastball that was left out over the plate. And Trevor Brown, but you see Corey Dickerson getting after it and making sure that ball is cut and get it back in quick to keep him at first base.
There's a bunt by Blanco. Moore gets the tag. Into second base goes Brown. So Blanco advances the runner with that bunt, one unassisted.
That was well done by everybody. A good bunt here, but Matt Moore off the mound quickly, and then forget about the throw. Add a degree of difficulty. You get over there quick, just go ahead, field it, make the tag yourself, cut down the middleman, and now go to work with the runner at second.
And back to the top of the order with the catcher, the runner at second. A ball, no strikes. Moore started this game with a perfect 1-2-3 first inning. Gave up the home run with 1 out, a solo shot in the second inning by Matt Duffy. Leadoff base hit here in the third. Trevor Brown's now at second base. 1 gone. It's a ball, 2 strikes. Stop there by Conger on the curveball in the dirt.
Well, yeah, that was not close to him. This is a do or die type of deal. This curveball gets yanked, and Hank Conger going out there, and a nice scoop, because if that ball gets away from him, now you're talking about runner on third, less than 2 outs. A little bit easier to get him home.
Span extends the at bat. A 2-ball, 2-strike count here. Span 0 for 6 in the series. 0 for his last 11 overall. Ground ball back to the mound. Check with the runner and the throw to first. Now 2 outs with Brown still at second base. Moore, the last couple hitters, nice job of fielding his position.
Yep, got the breaking ball, got what he needed. Nice way to look, ground back at second and make the throw over to first. One more hitter and get out of this spot.
Well, Joe PANIK will be the hitter. Ground ball right there for Forsythe. So the leadoff base hit, and the man left at second. Bottom of the third coming, 1-1. Baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com today. By Kona Brewing Company. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. Tough to find a better place to be than Tampa Bay. Whether it's the Gulf or the Bay. And Conger goes after the first pitch from the outfield. That's PANIK making the play. One pitch, one out. So the first time through the order, the Rays have 2 hits and a run. The home run by Longoria off Albert Suarez, who spent 8 years in the Rays system and never pitched above the AA level. He had some physical issues to overcome. He's had Tommy John surgery. It's Forsythe takes the pitch for a ball. Tommy John surgery in 09. Missed some time in 11 because of a knee issue. There's a shot, well hit. Pagan will go back though, and just as he gets to the track, he makes the catch. Hard hit line drive by Forsythe.
Yeah, he got a mistake, and he absolutely scolded that ball, but Angel Pagan had a good beat on it. It was somewhat right at him. A couple of steps back, makes a nice play, but you know, that's all you can ask for. Hit that ball hard. It will start to fall. That's what his teammates thinking and saying right now.
Now Brad Miller. Up a bit. A couple of quick outs here. He got 2 outs on 3 pitches.
He's averaged about 14 pitches an inning coming in.
He's heading out of play.
Yeah,
that's a very good number.
Oh, that's an elite number. Now, he's not a big strikeout guy, but he has gotten his fair share of ground balls, and that goes back to what you were saying, early in the game about working down in the zone. Occasionally you're going to elevate something, but for the most part, trying to work down with the late life, use these infielders. We've seen how good they are.
Yeah, this is an impressive group on that infield. Now 2-1. Duffy outstanding on 2 or 3 plays last night. Crawford elite at shortstop. PANIK plus second baseman. Belt very good at first. Well, you put an inner defense together like that, and then throw a few ground balls, in pretty good shape.
Yeah, you'll have a pitching staff that has so much confidence in the ability, hey, if they put the ball in play, my guys will make plays.
There's the long one. Deep to right and gone. Boy, did he hit that one. And a great grab by a fan out there. Miller gives the Rays the lead with his 8th home run of the year. Boy, he can hit the ball hard, and this one a long way.
I think that's his 3rd home run in his last 20 at-bats. Last night, spoiling the shutout bid, going opposite field with a rocket shot. And then this one, fastball, stays around between the thighs and the belt, and that ball came back middle. And got destroyed.
And how about that grab? The breaking ball this time to Longoria. First pitch for a strike.
The best part is the camera wasn't on him the entire time, but as that ball was coming in, I saw him call for the fair catch.
1-1. I'll tell you, as hard as Brad Miller hits the ball, to stand there and catch it, something else.
He won't feel his hands until the 7th.
1-2 on Evan.
Look at he got him last night with an opposite field home run, and then Jeff Samardzija is out there to catch that one too. Unbelievable. He's everywhere.
And that takes care of Longoria out on strikes on the slider. But the Rays grab the lead on their 2nd home run of the day. This one hit by Brad Miller. We're through the first 3 innings of this game, and it's 2-1 Tampa Bay. Lead as we go to the fourth, our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile, and keeping tabs on David Ortiz. Home run number 18 last night at Fenway, and that's 521. The company he is now in, Ted Williams, at 521.
Enough said.
Yep. Strike to count to Brandon Belt. This one is inside, and Willie McCovey on that list.
I mean, anybody that you're at 521. That is the elite of the elite.
This pitch is inside. McCovey, we mentioned earlier, reminded me of Chili Davis, who wore this color with the Giants, and Willie McCovey wore this color jersey as well. Three and one. Matt Moore behind Belt. Belt has become even more selective this year in a big way. Up 3-1 in the count, and he walks.
Even that pitch right there, you know, it's a little bit off, but it's a 3-1 fastball, which is what you're looking for. But it's not in that little area that he's defined for himself. Yep. So you let it go. Yep.
And you'll see some guys go after that pitch.
Yes,
they're in swing mode there.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they're sitting 3-1 heater, and they got one. I mean, it means they have to swing, right?
Yeah.
Well, only if it's in your little area. Some guys aren't as disciplined.
Yeah. And he's made tremendous strides over the past year, really selectively defining his strike zone. Posey swings and misses. That's a strike. Kind of nice to have this guy behind you too.
Yeah, it does not hurt. A nice season right there, and that's down by his standards, at least in the average department.
0-2. Out in front.
And during this series, I mean, we're a game and a half in, but we have seen the Rays pitchers able to get Buster Posey to expand his zone, even early in counts, like that pitch right there, down and out. And he's not only out in front, he's over the top on a pitch that's clearly out of the zone.
Quick toss over there, trying to catch Belt, maybe thinking about something else. Nice little quick move.
Snap throw, and that was good. That was a good one. Matt Moore does a nice job controlling the running game. Just one successful stolen base in 4 attempts.
That's as close as you can come and not actually pick him off. This one is down. Yeah, you were talking about that the other day, how good Matt has been at controlling the running game, and there's just no time for a runner with him as quickly as he gets rid of the ball.
And he'll, from time to time, he'll give you the high leg kick, but boy, if you're a potential base stealer, you're getting like there you go. That's the one you have a chance on. But that's if you're a base stealer. And if you're a base stealer, Matt Moore probably not going to give you that look very often, if at all.
Matt out here in the 4th inning, pitching with a 2-1 lead. A few more pitches in the 2nd inning than he would like, but a very efficient 1st and 3rd inning. Leadoff walk to Belt. Fly ball back into left center. Oh, fall between MAHTOOK and Dickerson. Throw back into second, and it's not going to be in time. Well, a failure to communicate out there in left center, and that fell right in between Dickerson and MAHTOOK. That hurts.
That does, because that's his routine as a fly ball as you're going to get in your home ballpark. You see both converging, nobody taking charge, everybody kind of glancing at each other. Then you see them both pull off as that ball. Watch the quick peek right there. And that's it. That is all communication. Well, two guys that really haven't worked together a ton out there in left and center. And you just hope that doesn't come back to bite you.
Yeah, that's a tough hit to give up for Moore. Puts men at first and second with nobody out. And Matt Duffy, who homered in the second, is up here and fouls it out of play down the right side. Well, MAHTOOK was shaded toward right center, had a little bit more ground to cover, but both were there. And ideally, this went down 1-1. You'd like to see the center fielder make that catch, but it appeared that Dickerson was all set to make the catch, and that's why MAHTOOK pulled off, and it fell between the two of them.
I mean, you could not have put that fly ball directly between two guys, both converging at about the same speed and both pulling off at exactly the same time. That you just chalk it up to miscommunication. Period. End of discussion. It can't happen, but it did, and now you've got to move on from there. Or maybe no communication. One or the other.
2-1. Takes the count even. Brandon Crawford is on deck. And he strikes him out. Good curveball, 2-2. So that's a big out.
That's the way to come back and pick up your outfielders. A good curveball there, moving it in, and Matt Duffy, big swing, hand comes off the bat. That's a big one there.
Brandon Crawford. Crawford got the scoring started in last night's game with a first inning double. Up the right side, didn't hit it hard. That ball's going to be a foul ball. Just foul. Boy, that had trouble written all over it for the Rays. And Crawford dropped that ball just foul up the right field line. Broke his bat in the process.
An inch or two, maybe. And what a difference maker that would have been.
Well, he's been a tough out, especially with men in scoring position this year for the Giants. Strike 0-2 last year. He had more runs batted in than any other shortstop in the major leagues. And he led the Giants in home runs a year ago. Moore trying to pitch around that base hit that dropped in between MAHTOOK and Dickerson. Struck out Duffy. He's ahead of Crawford. Did he go? Yes, he did. And a big strikeout for Matt Moore right there. Scott Berry on the call down to third. Another breaking pitch.
It's right at that borderline, and Scott Berry had him going a little bit too far. That's when you get into that region where it could go either way. That one goes against Brandon Crawford, and now Matt Moore is 1 out away from weaseling out of this inning.
Well, here's Pagan. Pagan can be pesky up there. He'll battle you. And has been good with men in scoring position this year for San Francisco. First pitch is a strike. He took the curveball, so Moore uses that to get ahead.
Listen, Matt Moore, since getting into trouble here, has gone to that pitch. That has been his pitch. He's feeling comfortable with it, confident with it, and it's paying dividends.
Yep. You just saw how difficult Pagan has been for opposing pitchers in these situations this year. 1-1. You look up and down these lineups, no one's hitting 330, 350, but they all give you battling at bats. Foul back. That was a fastball, and it's 1-2. So Moore essentially trying to get the fourth out of the inning here.
And taking it on his own shoulders. Saying, you know what, I'll take it from here. You guys have picked me up plenty.
The 1-2. He got it. Throw him a fastball and strikes him out looking. Pagan puts up a squawk with the plate umpire John Tumpain. But the fastball got him looking. There it is. A great job by Matt Moore. 2-1 Rays. Moore to get himself out of that spot in the fourth. Rays hold this 1-run lead. Tomorrow, kids 14 and under receive a foam bat and ball set presented by Morgan Auto Group to slug their own home runs while supplies last. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up. These are pretty impressive here.
Dwayne, we were able to preview these, and I'm smelling foam ball game when this one's over.
Right here in the booth.
Yeah.
This is a bandbox of a booth.
Yeah. Keep it down. Keep it down.
Well, let's go to the bottom of the fourth. The Rays have hit a couple home runs so far. Lead 2-1. Logan Morrison shoots one deep to center. This ball is gonna get out of here. Wow, what a shot by Morrison. And it's 3-1. Logan's 8th home run of the year. Get it out of sight, back up into the tunnel beyond the fence in center field.
You know, that ball was not really elevated, and Logan Morrison shows how strong he is. What about the knees? But caught some plate, and he was able to get down and through it. And boy, oh boy, just enough.
Steve Pearce takes a strike. Well, the Rays have now hit 3 home runs. They lead it 3-1.
And Suarez had not given up a home run coming in. A great job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. This is not the easiest place to get balls out, and here we are in the bottom of the 4th, and already he's given up 3. But you know what? That's what the Rays do. They've proven that all season long. Big on the long ball. Score a lot of their runs via the long ball, and all of them today.
Well, 97 home runs. Baltimore started the day with 104. The Blue Jays 101. And now the Rays, well, the Mariners have 100, and the Rays now 97. And all those clubs in action today. So right now, the Orioles have 105, the Blue Jays 102. Pierce out on strikes. First out following the home run by Logan Morrison. Here's Corey Dickerson. Dickerson 0 for 1. He's off the off-speed pitch. Upstairs. 2-0. Longoria, Miller, and Morrison home runs today. It's 2-1. Home run by Logan Morrison today. His first since he had that 2 home run game on the road against the Twins in Minnesota. And now back with a long one to center field today. Rays spreading out their home runs. Longoria to the left, Miller to right, and Morrison to center. Dickerson swings and misses. Ball recovered by Brown, and the throw to Belt will complete that strikeout. So 2 gone.
Number 27,
MIKIE MAHTOOK will be up here now. We mentioned the injury list that had beset Suarez in his career with the Tommy John surgery and the left knee, had the arthroscopic work done on it. He had a bout with Lyme disease. He had an oblique in 13. Spent time in the 14 and 15 seasons on the disabled list. So he's had a difficult time staying healthy to make a move up the ladder.
Yeah, hard enough to make that move. You know, from the time he was signed by the Rays when he was, what, 16 years old.
Yep.
To make that move to get to the big leagues is difficult enough. And when you're doing it with all of those obstacles in your way, let alone the competition.
So finally here, 26 he has surfaced in the major leagues. Getting a shot. There's a high shot down the left field line off the bat of MAHTOOK. It's a foul ball and caught by that low wall by PAGAN to retire the side. Home run by Logan Morrison to start the bottom of the fourth. At the end of 4, the Rays lead 3-1. All the scoring on home runs. Matt Duffy hit one in the second for San Francisco, and Longoria, Miller, and Morrison that hit solo shots for the Rays. Trevor Brown, the catcher, leads it off, and the first pitch is a strike. Boy, what a job turned in by Matt Moore. Had to throw a few extra pitches when that ball off the bat of Posey fell in between MAHTOOK and Dickerson. But you talk about taking matters into your own hands and striking out the side thereafter.
You know that there are a lot of pitchers that would allow that to get to him, and all of a sudden you lose concentration for a hitter for just a couple of pitches, and that becomes a big inning for the Giants. The fact that he was able to show that little bit of frustration, which any pitcher would, because you're expecting that to be caught, it falls in, you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Okay, let's regroup and let's go about attacking. And you could see it in his body language. He was determined that if he was going to go down that inning, it was going to go down, you know, emptying the tank, going up there and throwing a high quality, max effort type of pitches. And he let that curveball do a lot of the talking for him.
He surely did. And really, he got the call strike on PAGAN on a fastball, but all of that, the curveball was setting all that up.
Well, it put away the first two.
Yeah.
And then it started off PAGAN. He kind of set the, like you said, set the table.
Full count to Brown. Blanco on deck, and then Span. Ooh, he missed right there with the fastball, pretty close. And there's ball 4. Back to the fourth and take a look at his work.
Well, this is where it started. And that ball just falls in. Some communication issues. Matt Moore said, you know what? I take it from here. Big curveball there to Matt Duffy. Gets Brandon Crawford to chase. And then after setting up PAGAN with some early curveballs in that at-bat, he closes him out with the heater in. And you can see how his teammates react to that comeback. That was well done.
Blanco. ball, no strikes. High drive, that's going to fall. One hop in front of Dickerson. So the 8 and 9 hitters are on with a walk and a base hit. Let's check in with Todd Callis right now. Todd, what's up?
You know, Dwayne, I'm with the special group here. It is the Earl Batty Elite City Grays. They are from the Orlando area. These kids played in a tournament last week in Clearwater. They're about to play in another one in Clearwater. You may notice the name Grays. They are honoring the Homestead Grays here. It's an all African-American traveling baseball group. They have the under-9s team, the under-11s team, under-13s, and under-16. They got here before the game. They had a chance to meet Tim Beckham, get down on the field, collect some autographs from the Rays players. And they are run by Corey Batty, whose dad, Earl, is the reason why this whole team exists. Earl was an all-star catcher with the Minnesota Twins. So there they are right here, the Grays getting ready for a tournament next week in Clearwater. Raise your hand if you're the best player on the team. There they go. They're all the best players. Guys, back to you.
They are the best. Absolutely. You got to feel that way.
You got to consider yourself a superstar, Dwayne.
Yeah.
That's the whole key.
One strike to count on Denard Span. So a great opportunity for Tim Beckham to visit with those youngsters. This will load the bases. They're loaded with nobody out. So as big a spot as Moore was in the 4th inning, he's got a bigger spot to deal with here in the 5th.
How about Denard Span going down and getting that curveball? This curveball, middle down, maybe a little bit close to him, but not a terrible pitch at all. It keeps it down. But look at Span go down and get it. Able to shoot that ball out into right field, and now you're in a spot. But hey, showed he could get out of it last inning.
So here's PANIK, Joe PANIK, the second baseman. Swinging at the fastball, fouling it, strike one.
For Matt Moore, it becomes one pitch at a time. And what you want to do here is limit the damage. And you're not thinking of the end result right now. You're thinking of pick out a pitch, pick a spot, execute it, and then move on to the next one. One step at a time. That's the key.
Oh, 2. He's up in the count on PANIK. PANIK, a contact guy up there. And he fouls it away. So Moore has to go to the well again. Brandon Belt on deck. Hits him. Got him in the helmet. And that will force home a run. So PANIK hit by that pitch. Brown scores. It's 3-2, and PANIK appears to be just fine.
And you can see the reaction of Matt Moore says it all. Joe PANIK, he's just trying to go in. And that ball right off the top of the helmet, bounced up quick. Give him that. Going to have to be convincing here.
Well, he had him 0-2.
You can see that on the side of the helmet where exactly that ball hit.
Bill Hayes, his first base coach, to make sure he's all right. So it's a one-run game now with the bases loaded and nobody out. Well, fouling it right back into the screen. Fastball. Matt Moore trying to work his way out of this one. And now he's ahead of Belt, 2 strikes.
And coming right after him too with the hard stuff. Just here I come. Put himself in a good position here. Now you're thinking strikeout. You're thinking where can I go? What pitch can I go with to put this guy away?
And again, a guy who doesn't chase. Years past, you get 2 strikes, you might get him to chase. He lays off the fastball up. 1-2.
You know, Dwayne, he made a tweak to his hitting mechanics where he lowered his hands this season. The idea of, you know, having him closer to where he would get his load and hit, be quicker to the baseball, and it's paid off. And also, you know, when you have confidence in your hitting mechanics, good pitch recognition, then there's that ability to be able to discern the strike zone, have a well-defined strike zone, and have confidence that you can go get what you need to, and you can let other stuff go by.
And that kind of confidence gives you the foul ball back, gives you the pitch recognition, the discipline he has. With 2 strikes, gives him the confidence to be down 0-2 and continue an at bat.
Not a lot of guys, understandably so, are very comfortable hitting 0-2. And I'm sure it's not the most comfortable thing for this guy, but you learn how to deal with it and learn, you know, to do what you have to keep those at bats alive and have some success.
Line drive, out at first, and a throw down to second to get the double play. Morrison back at first, made the catch, and he gets the double play. Span caught off second. Not sure what Denard Span saw, but he didn't see what actually happened. That ball lined, but it's right at Logan Morrison, and Span had already started to head towards third base. Boy, that's a big development here in the top of the 5th inning. Well, here's Buster Posey with men at first and third. Panik at first and Blanco the runner at third. And the first pitch strike on a breaking ball. So Moore's been able to use that to get ahead. Into left center, Dickerson made the catch. That ball was sinking out there. And Dickerson racing in, angling to his left, made the catch and held on to retire the side. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Giants get 1, and this ends the inning. 3-2 Rays. of them and minimizing the damage. Here's the 5th inning.
Well, at the line drive right to Logan Morrison. Did Art Span inexplicably is heading towards third base, gets caught, doubled off, and then Corey Dickerson. How about this play? Come in, slide off, play this ball off to your glove side, and snag it just before it gets to the turf. And how about the fact that in back-to-back innings, the Giants, first and second, nobody out, bases loaded, nobody out, come away with 1 run, and that was on a 2-strike hit by pitch off the helmet of Joe PANIK. You're able to wiggle out of 2 innings like that, you start to feel good about your chances.
Yeah, and if you're the Giants, you're scratching your head.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying, and that ends up how this game is written. And you look at the end and you go, boy, the missed opportunities. And what the Rays need to do right now is apply some pressure offensively and give themselves some breathing room.
Well, Decker's up 2-0 in the count against Suarez. Conger will be next, and then Forsythe. So down to second. PANIK takes care of that one. Hank Conger. Breaking ball down and in. 1-0. Rays facing the 26-year-old right-hander Albert Suarez. It's a 2-1 count. Three, 4-0 for the Rays. They've stranded 1 and 2 5-0. 5 left by San Francisco. An off-speed pitch he took wide. 3-1 now. Ball 4. 1 on, 1 out. Your best bat flip could be your ticket to the MLB All-Star Game in San Diego. Post a video of your bat flip to @FoxSports with hashtag FoxBatFlip. Contest now through July 26. Visit foxsports.com/batflipcontest for more info.
All in an effort to make baseball fun again.
There's a strike to Forsythe.
I mean, I've always thought the game was pretty fun, but apparently there's a segment that needs some hijinks.
So you need a bat flip.
With something. Something. Chest pump, you know, you yell at somebody. I don't know.
You're so old school.
That's all I know.
The fly ball. Right center, and that's Blanco there in shallow right to make the catch.
Well, here's the other thing that I know is you know, Jose Bautista had an epic bat flip, and I got to be honest with you, in that playoff series, which it didn't actually bother me watching it live, but he got cracked in the jaw a few months later.
Yeah,
and it was a pretty good straight right by Odor.
Yeah, and it all stemmed from that.
That's right.
You did. So flip a bat.
It made baseball fun on a couple of different days.
Brad Miller. One strike the count. Action in the bullpen. Suarez making his third start. He pitched 6 1/3 and 5 innings in those starts. 84 pitches, his high pitch count. And you see right there 73 right now. 84 is high, and the other one 76. Those two highest in those two starts. There's a base hit shot the other way. Conger's going to go to third. A little trouble out there in the outfield, and Miller winds up at second. And the Rays have 2 men in scoring position here in the 5th.
How about the guy that's racked out a couple of home runs in his last few at-bats goes the other way there. Got guys moved over against him. He's going to say, okay, you want to stay outer third and down? I'll just go ahead and stay on that pitch, shoot it the other way. And Pagan, just that little stumble right there. And Conger, he was going to try to get to third regardless. But the little stumble allowed Brad Miller to get to second.
An error charged to Pagan. His second of the year. So second and third, and it gets Evan Longoria to the plate now with both these men in scoring position and 2 gone. Great opportunity. Pitch is down. 1-0. So base hit and an error, putting Miller at second. Conger was on his way to third. 2-0. Now they're going to walk Longoria down 2-0. So this will be an intentional walk to load the bases. Action down in the bullpen, and here comes Bruce Bochy. So the lefty will get the call. Baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Dodge. Visit your local dealer today. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Rays lead 3-2. Bases are loaded with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And Stephen Okert enters the game, just recalled from AAA Sacramento yesterday. This is his second stint with San Francisco this year. And he'll face Logan Morrison, who homered. He is 2 for 2 with a single and a home run. That home run to center field in the 4th inning. Goes after the first one and lofts a popper short center. Span is there to make the catch. Crawford pulling off the play. And the Rays leave him loaded. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Rays have a 3-2 lead. They open the scoring with Evan Longoria. Hit the first pitch he saw today in the first inning out for a home run. Matt Duffy briefly tied this game with his 4th home run of the year in the 2nd inning, only to have Brad Miller hit one out in the 3rd. Logan Morrison then went to center field in the 4th inning. And out of a bases loaded situation in the 5th. The Giants got 1. We go to the 6th. It's 3-2 Rays. Matt Duffy leads off, and he takes a fastball in there for a strike this time. Duffy, Crawford, and Pagan due up. .93 pitches now for Moore today. 1 pitch into the 6th. It's fouled down the right side beyond the Rays bullpen, and it is busy. So is the Giant bullpen. George Cantos loosening for San Francisco. The Rays have Cedeno, the lefty, Geltz, the right-hander. In a bit. 1-2. Look out. That one foul into the seats. It's down beyond the Rays dugout.
Nachos are still in order, though.
Yep. Important. He heads up there. Duffy swings and misses. Conger's throw to first completes the strikeout. Well, he got him with a curveball again. One away in the 6th. Celebrate the red, white, and blue at the Coke 0400 for your chance to win 4 tickets. Tweet the number of laps in the Coke Zero 400 and hashtag race to July and hashtag sponsored to @FoxSportsFL. Head to foxsportsflorida.com for more information.
Have you ever had a Coke Zero?
Don't know that I have.
I don't know why it's not more popular. It's Coke without the calories. It's it.
Bunt by Crawford and the shuffle pass to Morrison in time. And Crawford is out of there.
You remember earlier in the game where Matt Moore was able to field a bunt and place the tag himself. He's thinking of doing the same thing right here. Realizes, oop, not going to be able to. Little option pitch just in time. Well played once again. I'll tell you, he's done a nice job out there on the mound, getting out of jams, fielding his position, and making wise decisions.
That one on the run. Well done.
Anyway, give it a try. You're going to love it. I'm telling you.
You have great credibility with me.
I'm telling you.
So
I've got a refrigerator full.
Sure, you're right.
Back home.
It's Angel Pagan. He takes a strike. Pagan was upset when he was called out on strikes on a fastball in the 4th. Fouls it out of play. Nothing in 2. Ball down. Makes the count 1-2. With a single run in the 2nd on Duffy's homer. They got another run in the 5th. Rays lead 3-2. 1-2 to Pagan. Pops it up. Brad Miller makes the call and the catch. It's a 1-2-3 6th. So Matt Moore with 6 innings of work under his belt. Rays come in to hit in the bottom of the inning, and it's a 3-2 Tampa Bay lead. Home half of inning 6 coming. Rays leading this contest. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live. Pre-game shows presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. You go to Rizzy on the hill for the Rays, and we'll hear from him Major League Baseball celebrating Father's Day tomorrow. George Contos, the new pitcher here, facing Steve Pearce. First pitch is down. Oakland made one pitch. Got a third of an inning on a fly ball to center. It gives way to Contos. Two and 0. Pierce, Dickerson, and MAHTOOK scheduled for the Rays. Fastball for a strike. Big cut. 2-2.
Now able to get that cutter by the swing of Steve Pearce, and it's a lot of fastballs, cutters, and sliders against right-handed hitters.
Right-handed batters hitting only 156 against Contos. Still 2-2 the count.
Rays now into the heart of this giant bullpen and ahead, but by the thinnest of margins. So you're looking for quality at bats. You're looking for an opportunity to try to extend this lead.
Pearce has worked the count to 3-2.
Leadoff base runner would go a long way towards helping that cause.
3-2 pitch. Shallow right center. Blanco coming in, and he makes the catch. A lot of that ball showing in the glove. He had PANIK out there from second, and Blanco came on to grab it.
Yeah, it didn't look like Joe PANIK was very comfortable going back on that ball over his head, and Blanco coming in to save the day. That's a tough angle to make the catch already. Here comes Blanco, going to call him off. Ew. And that ball did pop towards the front of that glove.
Corey Dickerson now. One ball, no strikes. Dickerson is grounded out to second. Struck out swinging in the fourth. Two and 0. Contos has gone 10 appearances without giving up a run. The Rays trying to add to this one-run lead, looking for an opportunity. Two balls and a strike. Dickerson, a big cut right there. Now it's 2-2.
It was a couple of backdoor cutters to get back into this count, and Corey Dickerson trying to go out there and get that pitch. Very rarely gets cheated on a swing. Took a big one there. You can see Contos respecting the power of Corey Dickerson and trying to stay away from him up to this point. Everything away.
And the full count on Dickerson, as it was on Pierce before him.
A couple of dangerous hitters, and Contos out there just kind of nibbling around the edges, trying to get these guys to go after a pitch maybe they're not comfortable with.
Fly ball into left. Gun backs up a couple steps. 2 away. Base is empty for Mikey MAHTOOK now. MAHTOOK 0 for 2 with a strikeout. He takes fastball for a strike. Contos started his career in the Yankee system. Two, fouling that cutter away. Got to the big leagues briefly with the Yankees and has spent most of his time in the big league since with San Francisco. And that takes care of MAHTOOK. A 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. 3-2 Rays onto the 7th. The 7th, a Toyota inside look at Bruce Bochy, who has had a great run of success as a manager in the major leagues. First for the Padres, then for the Giants, a '96 National League Manager of the Year, 3 World Series titles, 10, 12, and 14. Don't tell anybody, but this is 16. And the Giants are the hottest team in baseball right now.
They really do follow his lead and have taken on a lot of his characteristics.
Trevor Brown fouling it back. Strike. Bochy, former catcher, really a backup catcher, second or third catcher at various times as a player. So Matt Moore out here pitching to begin the 7th. And he's ahead of Brown, 0-2. Blanco due next, and then Span. 2 strikes. Cedeno continues to stay busy in the Rays bullpen up the right field line. Matt worked 7 innings against Houston his last time. Made 114 pitches. Liner up the left side. That's a fair ball and headed to the corner. Kicking back out to Dickerson. Brown in with a stand-up double. He's on for the 3rd time today.
And how about that? That was pitch 106 after throwing 114 pitches his last time out. Look where this pitch is elevated. You don't see too many guys get on top of his fastball up, and so you wonder exactly, where was that late life, and maybe a little bit of fatigue setting in for Matt Moore. Trevor Brown gets on top of it and leads off with the double.
On Fox Sports Sun, brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. By Dodge, visit Dodge, your local dealer today. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Well, Matt Moore out after 6 innings plus and 106 pitches, 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, a couple walks, 2 runs, responsible for a man at second. Xavier Cedeno on to face the left-handed bat of Gregor Blanco. Pitch is a strike.
On for the 28th time. 22 innings of work, 23 strikeouts, an opponent's average of 195, and put in charge here of keeping the Giants off the board. They've had some opportunities today, and Matt Moore and the defense able to come up and thwart them a couple of times, and here another one, runner on second with nobody.
1-1 the count. Hit came in the 5th inning. The Giants loaded the bases with nobody out. Got 1 run and that was it. Fly ball left center, and Dickerson right there to make the catch. Both of them coming together on that one. You almost expected a collision because they were both bent on making the catch.
Yeah, this still wasn't as clean as you'd like to see. But Corey Dickerson calling for with his arms up, and MIKIE MAHTOOK at the last second pulled off of that and just kind of jumped behind Corey Dickerson, but he was, well, they were on a track to collide, no question about it.
So that's the first out.
And this is at home.
Yep. Yeah, they're still feeling that ball that dropped in. Top of the order, Denard Span takes the pitch down. Erasmo Ramirez starts to get ready in the bullpen. Ground ball right side. Forsythe plays this one to first. Brown goes to third. Fly ball and a ground ball thrown by Cedeno. 2 outs and Joe PANIK is on his way to the plate. PANIK hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in that 5th inning. Hit on the helmet. An 0-2 pitch. Forced home a run, and that was all the Giants would get in that frame. Cedeno starts him with a strike. Fly ball toward left. Dickerson makes the catch, and that takes care of the Giants. They leave a man at third. Rays lead 3-2. Today's Geico great moment. It was on this day in 2013. Will Myers made his major league debut, becoming the youngest player to make a major league debut in right field at Fenway Park since Dwight Evans with the Red Sox. Rays were swept in the doubleheader. Myers collected his first big league hit in the nightcap, a second inning base hit off Felix Dubron.
That was the start of Shark Week. You remember that?
It was, yes.
Yeah. Coincided.
A very eventful week.
Exciting.
Cantos out to start the bottom of the 7th inning. A 1-2-3-6 for the Giants right-hander. First pitch to Jeff Decker is a strike. Decker a couple of ground ball outs today. 2-strike count. That's pretty close. 1-2. Still a ball, 2 strikes. Decker. Foul out of play. Still a ball, 2 strikes.
The damage has been concentrated.
Yes, it has. Look at that.
2, 3, and 4.
3 runs, 5 hits. So far, that's been enough. Rays would like to add a little bit to that total. 2-2. Contos out of the Chicago area, went to Northwestern. Drafted by the Yankees. He had Tommy John surgery early in his career. Almost a common occurrence, it would seem. Count is full. On the 8th pitch of the at-bat, Decker is out on strikes, second for Contos in his relief stint.
You know, he continues to walk that fine line. A lot of deep counts for Contos, but comes back to pick up the strikeout there on a little cutter. He's made the pitches when he's needed to get the outs to keep the Giants close.
Hank Conger looks for his first hit of the day. Walked in the 5th inning, 0 for 1 otherwise. A couple of home runs for Conger this year.
Go, Hank.
Line drive, and there's a base hit. Conger's on for the 2nd time. 1 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Time to check in again with Todd.
Dwayne, coming up after our Rays Live postgame show presented by Checkers, it will be the premiere of our Inside the Rays featuring Logan Forsythe. You'll learn about Logan's high school career, both as a football and baseball player, his time at University of Arkansas, and why number 11 is so important in the Forsythe family. Back to you.
Must-see viewing right there. The lowdown on Logan Forsythe. Right after Rays Live, the postgame. And the throw to first gets by Belt. Conger's going to go to second base. How about that? So the base hit, and now a toss to first. And Conger, who was obviously not a threat to run, is at second base, and now the Rays will try to take advantage of this.
You know, first of all, he has no lead. And Contos, for whatever reason, is going to go over. He wasn't even really being held on by Belt. And the throw down and away, it gets away from Belt. And that'll get the Rays a pinch runner.
And Beckham will run, so they put some speed out there at second.
Well, when you see that shot of the lead that Conger had, how Belt was set up, nobody expecting that throw.
So here's Forsythe with Beckham on second. Pitch is a strike. We'll take another look at this. He's not going anywhere.
No. And so then that throws down and away, and his Belt is moving back towards the bag. Now he's got to reach for it off the end of the glove.
Yeah, Belt charged with the error.
Now that's one of those plays. Not easy. I mean, could he have caught it? Certainly. He's a fine enough first baseman to make that catch, but that ball probably should have never been thrown in the first place.
1-1 to Logan. Another lefty. Osich is up in the bullpen. Josh Osich. 2-1. With one out, Conger singled. Moved to second on the errant throw to first. Beckham pinch running. Three balls and a strike. Brad Miller on deck. And the lefty in the bullpen. Ground ball headed toward the middle. PANIK will make the play to first. Over to third goes Beckham. The ground ball out number 2. Miller due, and Bruce Bochy comes out of the dugout to make a pitching change here to match up against the left-handed bat of Miller. Here in the bottom of the 7th. Trying to add to that. Here's the Buick GMC big matchup. They have the Giants One more game tomorrow, and then the Rays hit the road, go to Cleveland and into Baltimore before they are back home on the 27th, and they'll open that homestand against the Boston Red Sox. So there's some tough competition during this stretch.
Got to bring your A game. Come ready to play each and every night, because you're going to face teams leading their division, fighting for the lead in their division.
Osic's the left-hander in the game now.
Come on, Brad, knock him in.
One ball, no strikes. A home run and a single today for Miller. 2 for 3. There's one.
Able to be very deliberate in the delivery, and then quick jumping at the hitters to the plate, and that was a 92-mile-an-hour cutter. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, he may throw that cutter as often as he does the fastball, and he's got some velocity on the fastball too when he wants it. Cutter again. 2-1.
Well, everything starts off real slow and deliberate, and then all of a sudden at the end, you know, quick arm. And here it comes.
High popper, shallow center. And that's the center fielder, Denard's fan, to make the catch. We're headed into the 8th. It's 3-2, Tampa Bay. Five runs total in this game, 4 home runs. The Rays have hit 3 and lead 3-2. Matt Moore working 6 innings plus and allowing the 2 runs on 6 hits. We go to the 8th. Brandon Belt leads off against Xavier Cedeno. Cedeno got credit for the full inning in the 7th. Starts the 8th. Out of play. The count is 1-1. Erasmo Ramirez is up in the Rays bullpen. Belt leading off, then Posey and Duffy due to follow for San Francisco.
Obviously a huge inning here in the 8th with those cast of characters in line.
2 balls and a strike. Belt lined into a double play in the 5th inning. That's when they scored 1. They had the bases loaded, nobody out, and a run home. And that line drive to Morrison started a double play when Span was doubled off second. Down the left side, foul, 2-2. It's Hunter Strickland up in the bullpen for San Francisco. Strike 3 call. Belt caught looking.
Brilliant pitch by Xavier Cedeno. Front door cutter to finish off Belt.
That's going to be it for Cedeno, matching up against Posey. Back in a moment. Bullpen with Buster Posey due up, and then Matt Duffy, 29th appearance for Ramirez.
Well, an awful lot has been asked of Erasmo Ramirez. He continues to answer the bell. The ERA 2.83, 47 2/3 innings coming out of the pen already. And a huge spot here. Buster Posey, how dangerous, we know how dangerous he is, and you've got the thinnest of margins that you're protecting.
Posey got credit for the base hit in the 4th on the ball that fell between Dickerson and MAHTOOK in the outfield. First pitch is a strike. One and one. Very good job by Cedeno, ending in a 3rd. Faced 4 men, picked up a strikeout. Out of play. Up the right side, now 1-2. More 6+. Cedeno inning the 3rd. Ramirez facing his first hitter. That takes the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Each team with 6 hits. Bouncer foul. Bears worked in Wednesday's game against Seattle. An inning and a third, scoreless. A foul ball. There's the count at 2-2, loading up away. It's Duffy on deck. He did not offer, and the count is full to him. He had a double and a walk last night, 1 for 3 officially, and 1 for 3 today. Foul back to third. Foul ball again.
Pretty good battle going here.
Yeah, Posey's run this out to a 9-pitch at bat so far.
Seen a lot of pitches in a lot of different spots. Erasmo Ramirez looking for one more high quality pitch to retire Buster Posey. And I mean working him all over the place.
And a line drive just out of the reach of Forsythe, who had him shaded toward the middle. Big turn by Posey, and the Rays get the ball back in. MAHTOOK over there. So Posey's aboard with a base hit.
Boy, a nice job by Buster Posey of staying inside that baseball and going the other way. 10-pitch at bat. And he's seeing different pitches at different speeds all over that strike zone. And look at him just get inside it, get the barrel to it, and shoot that ball just out of the reach of Logan Forsythe.
Here's Matt Duffy. Home run and 2 strikeouts in this game. He puts down a bunt. Ramirez gloves and throws to get him, and a nice throw. Nice play by Erasmo Ramirez.
Boy, it certainly was. He understood that little clock going off in your head. Understood it. Not going to be able to bend over, field that, take a crow hop shuffle step, and make the throw. You're going to have to get rid of it quick. And so it was a tight spin and throw by Erasmo. Duffy dropping down a nice bunt, but right here, knowing you don't have a whole lot of time, he just gets it, turns, fires right on the money. That is very well done. Understand the situation, understand the timing.
And here's another situation with Brandon Crawford stepping in. Crawford came into the series hitting .356 with runners in scoring position. Posey's at second, and the first pitch is fouled out of play. 2 outs, runner at second, 1-run ball game in the top of the 8th. Ramirez squaring off with Crawford for the first time in his career. It's out of play the other way. 2 strikes. Foul ball on that fastball. Colomé starting to limber in the bullpen. Lays off the changeup low, 1-2.
Erasmo asking Kurt Casale to come out, make sure that they're on the same page here. Big pitch in this ball game. Good sequence so far too by Ramirez. You know, a couple of fastballs to get ahead, went up in the zone, came down with the changeup. Different speeds, different eye levels against a tough clutch hitter.
Giants 1 of 11 with men in scoring position. Crawford has been so good. Shoots this one into right center field. That's going to tie the game. Crawford digs for second. He's going to be out there. And we're going to go into the bottom of the 8th tied. Crawford lines a base hit, scoring Posey. And he's thrown out trying to move into second. Decker hustling over there. Out at second, we're tied. What is now a tie game. Our Lowe's home field advantage when it comes to homers as a third baseman. Longoria third. Todd Frazier, the White Sox 20, and the Rockies Nolan Arenado has 19, and Longoria connecting today in the first inning, his 17th. He'll be facing Hunter Strickland, pitcher number 5 for the Giants today. Osich worked the third of an inning. The first inning home run by Evan. Pitch up and couldn't wait to hit it as far as he did. There's one toward the corner and left. That's going to be in there. Bounding off the wall. Evans on his way to second. And the Rays have the potential lead run in scoring position with nobody out. 18 doubles now for Longoria.
Just continues to get it done. It continues to handle pitches that are out over the plate. Here's the breaking ball. Doesn't quite get down far enough. And look at the plate coverage there by Evan Longoria. That ball on the outside corner up just enough. He can get out around it, hook it down into the corner, and the Rays with an immediate threat here in the bottom of 8.
Well, Logan Morrison facing Strickland. He has faced him before. He has walked against him and has a base hit. Officially 1 of 1. There's a line drive down to first, and back in at second is Longoria. Well, Belt made that grab. Looked to second, but Evan alertly back in.
And he was moving that way. So Brandon Belt is moving towards second. A great read by Evan Longoria, realizing there's a line drive. You say freeze. It's actually freeze and start to head back. That ball gets through. You'll have plenty of time to get over to third. But you see Evan immediately put the brakes on, and he's able to get back and thwart that chance at a double play. That was well done.
Steve Pearce. Ball, no strikes. Pearce looking for his first hit today.
Couldn't think of a better time to get it.
Into center field. Span on the run. He's going to make the catch. And Longoria is still at second.
Boy, a lot of hits have gone that way for Steve Pearce. He's been very good up the middle, even up the middle the other way into right center. Hit that ball hard, but Denard Span able to track it down.
It's Corey Dickerson. We're going to walk Dickerson. MAHTOOK is on deck. With first base open, they're not going to deal with the left-handed bat of Dickerson.
And then where Kevin Cash, you start to think a possible move. Everybody left on the bench for the Rays is right-handed.
Dickerson heads to first. MAHTOOK 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts.
Number 27, the center fielder, MIKIE MAHTOOK.
He goes after this one and skies it into right. Blanco is there making the catch, and the Rays, who got the leadoff double, do not score. We're tied through 8. Rays will be wrapping up the homestand tomorrow with Jake Odorizzi on the hill. More interleague play. Our coverage begins at 12:30. Rays right now tied 3-3 with the Giants. Jake Peavy, who originally had been scheduled to pitch today, and the Giants juggled that a little bit. Peavy had some neck issues. So the veteran right-hander Jake Peavy tomorrow against Jake Odorizzi. And the Rays will head to Cleveland. Alex Colomé takes over to work the 9th inning. 29th appearance for Colomé.
Well, not a save situation, but there will not be one in this ball game. So Alex Colomé is the guy that you turn to in this situation, and the numbers outstanding as you saw that ERA under 1 at .90, and he's 19 out of 19 in the save department.
Angel Pagan 0 for 3, ground out, strikeout, and a pop out. Fastball misses. Bouncing ball foul. It's been busy down there in that section.
Sure has. Bodies falling in, balls coming in.
A 1-1 count. Line to Morrison, who grabs it. 1 down in the 9th. Trevor Brown, backup catcher, a single walk to double. He scored a run after drawing a walk to begin the 5th inning. It down. That's Corey Garrett up in the bullpen. 1-0 the count on Brown. This one off the glove. Morrison will pick it up, but no chance for Colomé to get there in time. And that's a base hit. Brown is on for the 4th time today.
Yeah, the defensive setup there, it's tough for the Rays to be able to make that play. Once it goes off the glove of Alex Colomé, the only guy left to be able to get it is Logan Morrison, and no chance at that point. Looked like he was even fooled a little bit, thinking that ball was hit harder than it was, almost like a changeup coming off the bat. A little double clutch off the glove and a base runner.
So Brown's at first. Here's Blanco. The pitch is fouled, out of play. Brown, as base runners go, not your conventional catcher. He played in college and he was an infielder more than he was a catcher. So he can move a little bit on the bases.
You could tell that with him running up the first base line. He didn't run as you would expect a catcher to. So you got to pay attention.
One on, one out, 9th inning, tie game. Oh, that pitch just disappeared on Blanco. 0-2.
Let's take a look at it. There is the slider, starts middle in and works its way in off the plate and down. Meanwhile, you've got to try to start your swing a little early because of the velocity that Colomé brings, and now you're in some trouble.
Ground ball, that's going to go through.
And here he goes.
Watch Brown, he makes the turn, heads to third. Throw cut off. It is 1st and 3rd. So there's Brown's base running coming into play.
Yeah, Decker playing deep out in right field. A nice adjustment by Blanco. Just swung and missed at that slider down and in. He got one in this pitch right here he could handle. He gets the barrel to it, and with Logan Morrison holding the runner on, he finds the hole. Decker's got a long throw to make, and Trevor Brown able to get over there to third base.
So one gone for the top of the order now.
And that infield comes in for the Rays.
Denard Span, who had a base hit in the 5th, he is 1 for 4. Veteran hitter up there. Pitch is a strike. Mid-90s fastball from Colomé. Oh, 2. Breaking in.
Another slider. Sneaking under the swing of Denard Span. And now you put yourself in that position again. 0-2. Gotta go for the strikeout here. Denard Span, he'll be looking to cut down, trying to put the ball in play, force the action.
Down and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Giants with a couple hits in the 9th, putting men on the corners. They have 10 hits in the game. And the 1-2 count on Span. Runner takes off from first, and Span fouls it. So Blanco on the move. Moore for 6+. Cedeno an inning and a third. Ramirez 2/3. Now Colomé. A little bit of that one foul. Holds the count right there at 1-2. Colomé last worked on Wednesday in the Seattle series. 1 inning. On in the 9th of this one. Covered up. Nice job by Casale.
Swallowed it. Swallowed it and needed to. That ball was well out in front of him. That breaking ball that got cut a little bit short, but he just swallowed that thing right up, and with the runner on third, that's what you have to do. Look at him just get all around and over top of that baseball. It wasn't going anywhere.
Brown, the catcher's at third. Blanco's at first. 2-2 on Span. He fouls this one away. 7 pitches in. Casale's going to go to the mound.
The one pitch you're thinking about is that slider down and in. a good snappy slider down and in and get him to swing right over the top of it. If they want to go to that pitch right now, they absolutely could after that fastball that was up, you know, elevated, good velocity, and now try to sneak that slider down and in again. We'll see. He just shook it off.
2-2. Went wide with a fastball.
Casale went down with 3. Colome was like, no way, and then went to the fastball.
Well, let's see what he does. 3-2. Stayed away from the slider. 2-2. And a ground ball right side. The runner will not be able to score from third. Out at first. Blanco up to second base. He did go with the slider. And Span made contact.
That's all right. You strand these runners. You worry about the hitter now. Make your pitches and get out of this inning. Puts the ball in play, but right there is Logan Forsythe taking himself.
Two outs, second and third. Joe PANIK, another good contact guy up here, and Brandon Belt is behind him. So conference on the hill. Rays Live, the post game presented by Checkers, follows our coverage. We'll hear from Kevin Cash in the manager's press conference. Interviews from the clubhouse. Now PANIK in there, and he fouls that pitch away. PANIK 0 for 3, was hit in the helmet by a pitch back in the 5th inning. That came with the bases loaded. Brown at third and Blanco at second. And a high shot deep into right. Decker's going to go to the wall, and it's gone. PANIK hits his 7th home run of the year. A 3-run home run. And it's 6-3 San Francisco.
Well, he got a breaking ball, but look at that. That ball just stayed in the middle of the plate. Didn't have a lot of bite to it. One of the few mistakes that Alex Colome has made really all season long. And unfortunately, this one cost the Rays 3 runs.
It's going to be it for Colome. Rays will make a pitching change here in the ninth, down 6-3. as you can be. Certainly perfect in save situations. And a mistake here on the second pitch to Joe PANIK.
Very rarely have we seen Ellis Colomé make a mistake, and it's bound to happen from time to time. And unfortunately, PANIK took advantage. He got a pitch out over the plate, didn't have the kind of bite that you normally see from the Colomé slider, and he got it out.
Steve Geltz in to face Brandon Belt. First pitch is a strike. So the Rays suddenly find themselves down by 3 runs. Two fastball and a big cut by Belt. So PANIK with that 3-run homer has a 4 RBI day. Ball 2 strikes. Fly ball center field. MAHTOOK is there to make the catch. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Rays are down by 3, 6-3. Joe PANIK, a 3-run home run in the top of the 9th inning, has given San Francisco a 6-3 lead. Rays had led since the 3rd, but that lead disappeared when San Francisco scored the tying run in the 8th and then took the lead with that home run in the 9th. Corey Guerin is the new pitcher. 30-year-old right-hander. Jeff Decker leads it off, and he takes the pitch for a strike.
Oh, base runners. That's what it comes down to. You're down by 3. You need some guys aboard. Make something happen here down at the bottom of the order and roll around to those guys that we talked about earlier, all the home runs today, 2, 3, and 4, and see what happens.
Foul down toward the bullpen.
Nice play.
Yep, he made a couple here in the last couple innings.
Yeah, charge that too.
Go Decker. Come on, get on base, buddy.
Decker 0 for 3 and down 0-2 in the count right now. Guerin has not given up a run in the last 11 outings. The Rays Try to get something going here off him.
All about deception with Guerin. You can see the arm slot, the action on the pitches, sweeps the slider. Tries to create some arm side run, constantly trying to keep the ball down and keep it moving.
Ball, 2 strikes. Broken bat, the popper right side. Panic out from second into shallow right. 1 away in the bottom of the 9th.
Number 19, catcher Kurt Casale.
Kurt Casale will be up here. Guerin got to the big leagues initially with the Atlanta Braves. Came up in 2011. Been part of 12 with them, and then 13 had Tommy John surgery in 2014. A ball, no strikes, the count to Casale. First plate appearance for Casale in this game. Lifted up the right side, out of play. It's 1-1. Popped up. Duffy even with the bag at third. But 2 gone, and the Rays are down to their final out with the top of the batting order. Still looking for base runners.
If Forsythe find his way aboard, Miller find his way aboard.
That would make it interesting to get Longoria up there.
As hot as he's been with the long ball, wouldn't that be something?
Forsythe has not been on base today, 0 for 4. A ball, no strikes. Two and nothing. Pitcher number 6 for the Giants, Guerin. Tapper foul, 2-1. Rays started the day 4-3 on this homestand. And barring some very late fireworks here, they're going to need a win tomorrow to finish with a winning homestand. There's a shot deep into left field, and that one is out of here. Logan Forsythe has just homered off Guerin to make it 6-4. That's the first home run Guerin's given up since 2013, since before his Tommy John surgery.
Well, that's one way to get a base runner. Take care of it yourself. Logan got a ball that was up in the zone, 2-1. Sitting for that fastball. This one just spinning right in the middle, and Logan unloads.
Well, there's one of them. The Rays have hit 4 home runs today. Brad Miller takes a strike. On the ground to second. Panik has it. That's going to end this game. The Rays get a run in the ninth. They fall 2 runs short. It's a 6-4 final. And the Giants have taken the first 2 games of this series. Strickland's going to get the win. Colomé the loss. And Guerin will pick up a save. 3 hours and 13 minutes. Time of this game. For Brian Anderson, Todd Callis, and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast and not the outcome. Rays and Giants tomorrow. We'll be with you at 12:30. Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers, comes your way next.